try this again. I guess we'll be getting a 2-part video, but you know what? It's whatever. You guys will just miss what's up there, which ain't really much compared to all this nice green down here, you know, like, let's look at that. And, you know, this is back in the woods. But, and again, you can see all the nice mature trees that are back here. I mean, like I was saying there in the other video before, I got a random phone call from some spam number. I've cleared all this with little basic tools, and there's some standing trees here like that one there that ideally I'd take out, but which, I mean, again, I probably will take out a couple of, like that one, you can tell it's dead, busted off in the top. And because kind of what the plan is to maybe try and cut a little shelf road over to here to where you can drive back a four-wheeler with the ground blind over. And okay, again, that way it's more or less one of those, don't want us to hunt back here anymore, or just not season or this or that. We can just hook to them and drag them out real easy. That's like, I can tell you, there's been something back here eating on some walnuts. That's kind of suspicious, ain't it? So did I see a kitty cat? That almost looks like a bobcat plaque. Which, if I have seen a bobcat back here, we'll have to take care of that. We can't have that. That's one of the reasons I'm also a little shaky, and that's like that little bit of rain we got definitely helped the creek, because last year when I was working back here, this is more or less literally just a spring fed, or a couple springs back in here, like one up there, and that's like that poplar there. I need to get that one cut and drug down and off the road. Like, look at there, I need to, again, that's one of the reasons I've been doing this stuff back here, is to try and clean up and it prevents stuff washing out out there and stuff like that. And you can see a lot of the stumps over here, which over here is probably where I'll set a feeder at. Either I'll set one, like over here somewhere. I might stick one, down around over here somewhere, and then put one over here somewhere. I'm not real big on just feeding them straight corn and grain and stuff, but they do like it as a supplementary, and man, that's kind of a lot of the point in doing a lot of this. And see, like, there's another tree that'll be a good hunk of firewood. Got a lot of these trees back here, it's just, they've been laying for so long. And then, again, I've been cutting all this stuff out of here by hand with hand tools and stuff, and you can't even see where the deer's been walking through here and got everything all matted down. Well, might be able to, might not. You can kind of see it. But it's one of those that kind of takes a trained eye, but they always love to come down off these points right here, come right through here, and go right, and then right across. Literally, they love to come in right there, look up that way, they'll look up that way, and they'll come across right there and go around. But it's one of those, and again, you got to learn to read your woods. You got to learn how to do this type of stuff, which I've spent years and years learning, and I'm still learning. And that's like, I'm hoping this year I can get the money to get the proper tools, get a little bit of equipment, and get more properly set up to be able to do more of this agroforestry habitat management, because I've always wanted to farm, but I never really knew about the agroforestry well, I should say, I've always wanted to farm and be a habitat manager because I grew up in Trout Unlimited and this and that. And you can see another trail here they love coming down through and using a creek bed. But, and it's one of those, okay, again, like these brush piles, and they feel real safe butting up right here against them because they can see that way. They can see all around out there, and they can get away from stuff. Or even better, they can set up over here, still keep an eye out, and they catch this as a windbreak, and it works out for them real well. I mean, again, it's one of those I don't know it all yet. I probably never will till I'm about 50, 60 years old, but it helps learning from guys that's been doing this for years. And that's like you can see a few spots. Like I'll probably try and do one of them mineral things here at this old stump. I can take you guys up this way. I'll probably cut the video off here soon, but I'm just taking a walk up and around, and it's like I need to come back and get that cherry and stuff, or a couple of cherries that I had to cut and this and that to be able to get the trails back opened up to. Okay, again, the neighbor's nice enough to let me hunt and cut firewood, and he lets me do quite a lot. So I try and clean up the trails and do what I can to help him out. And as you can see, I've got some cleanup to do up here still. Looks like a few trees have fell too. Oh yeah. That's nice. I'll have to clean up that one, which I'd cut it off, but it's rolled more. That one busted off. Because the plan is, set that down for a second. I'm cleaning all the old logging and well roads and access roads. And like this one, it goes out through here. And I'll probably try and plant it as like a turkey wheatgrass alley. Because sun comes up over around that area, and then it sets over in that area. So it comes up, catches the morning dew shade, and then it's got 3/4 of the day. Nice. That's like I'm gonna have to cut that little booger. Freaking little bean hole. But I mean, you could see where them guys had come down. And the last track that they did was back there, because you can see the ruts where they'd just go in and out. And you can really see it walking, or I should say feel it. That's like there's still a couple red oaks laying. Yeah, there's a stump laying down across here, which I have like no idea how I'm gonna get them up out of there with where they're at. But I mean, you can even kind of see here, the difference down there. And again, it's one of those, like, even me from being a nature lover and this and that, you'd think wouldn't cutting all that stuff out be bad. I mean, that's like all this was dirt, and I mean, there's still a good bit of dirt and everything, but there's all kinds of stuff popping up. I mean, I really need to get a dozer, but see, that one trail comes along this hill side, and there's some nice little flat pockets. Okay, again, I don't want to do too much and respect the neighbor, but again, he's letting me do all this stuff, so I do want to invest in his property for him too. Okay, it's one of those, a lot of people would think, yeah, see, you can kind of see the, oh, maybe, the nice big square pocket back here. If I had to guess, there was probably an old farmstead or something back here at one time. Especially with the creek and everything down there the way it is. And just the way the woods are around in here, it's one of those you can kind of tell. But I mean, you know, we're getting up here in where I've just cut the trail for him. Which he had the trail cut from here on out, and I've just been cleaning it back up because he'd come in and dug out a couple red oak and a couple others, and look at that big old beauty. Look at that. That is a big, beautiful red oak. That might be white oak. Again, I'm still learning the trees, and I'm not gonna weedle waddle down here too far, but, and again, come from the bottom down in there, which you're not really gonna be able to drive up in here, but you know, clear out some of this undesirable stuff down in here, and you can throw like just clover, wheatgrass mix and stuff down around in there, and that'd be a nice little turkey spot, and this and that, and just, and again, that's one of those, like, you gotta have food, you gotta have shelter, water, and you gotta have everything to sustain a habitat. And even the Native Americans and a lot of the indigenous tribes and such, they even invested in their food sources. That's why they had them for all the years that they did. I mean, and see, well, we'll waddle over this way, hopefully, where it's starting to get warmer. I mean, knock on wood, I haven't really encountered many in my days, but keeping an eye out for snakes and other critters. And see, like this paper birch here, it's probably no good. It'll probably be one that I'll cut up and pile up here at the stump for, and be able to take, like, oh, shoot, that pile of tops right there and move over on it. And I mean, again, it's one of those, not trying to make like pasture fields or yard out of any of it back in here, but you do need to manage your forests, and you know, like all this stuff laying on the ground, it's just straight forest fire fuel. Not to mention, you don't really have all the added benefit and such of the food and the shelter. And see, like, I want to say that's a nice little white oak, but I think it's been laying back here a little too long. I could be wrong. And since I'm down here, we'll go ahead and walk down to this one. Ah, yeah, classic. What do they call that? Oak wilt, I think is what it is. She's a beautiful tree. Yeah. And again, I say beautiful tree because I'm a nature lover and this and that. But, and I like this. That's a nice straight log. But again, if I can get that tractor and stuff I've been looking at and everything, I'll be able to drag a lot of these up out for the neighbor. And That's kind of the goal, is to be able to help him drag out logs and saw them up for him to use, and in return he lets me cut firewood and invest in the wildlife habitat, because like I've said before, we only have, I think it's like 12 or 15 acres. And see, this is them, which, nope, that one's not new. But I need to get back up here and get all this stuff cleaned up, because this is that stuff that I was cutting last time whenever I couldn't really figure out what was wrong with my saw. Because again, nobody really ever taught me growing up, so it's all kind of new to me. I mean, I'm getting there now at this point, but at the time I couldn't figure it out because I'd been sharpening chains for a decent while, and I knew it wasn't my chains because I even tried 2 brand new chains, and it was one of those, my sprocket was wore out. So, you know, you'd start cutting and she'd just I mean, you can kind of see it, because like right there I started cutting with the tip and I tried easing in and it just kind of but it's one of those, you know, it's a learning thing. And like Buck and Billy Ray says, that's one of the reasons for the videos is, you know, if you can help somebody else, why not do it? But, and like Russ Willie and Gramp, I think it's Russ Willie. My bad if I'm getting that wrong, because I am getting that wrong, because there's Russ Willie and then there's Willie's Firewood. And then there's Lily's Farm and Firewood. There's, I think it's Coda Bear TV. Like I said, Buck and Billy Ray. What's the one? Jake something, Log Cabin Firewood, I think. My bad if I'm getting it wrong. Again, I'm real bad with names, but I watch all these guys because, again, I try and support everybody, learn something from everybody, and it's like, you see this one here. You'd normally see that and think, you know, that's great cherry firewood, right? Well, you might get a little bit out of it, but there's also a decent bit of rot in it. And being root rot, I would guess it's probably rotting up to about where I'm standing. Which means, you know, you'd still get about a bucket load. Which means a bucket load's better than nothing. And I'm sure you guys are bored and tired of hearing me yap, but this is kind of one of the types of videos I want to be able to start doing and providing, is, you know, being able to walk around properties and give you guys examples of habitat management. And like you can see all the brush in here. This is what all that down in the bottom looked like when I started, but even worse. You know, there wasn't a single bit of green really down in there. It was all brown, leafy, and just briars. And when I say I mean briars. And, you know, I'm trying to weasel my way through the tree limbs here, so bear with me on my poor camera skills. But if we weasel down here, there's another old logging road that comes off that trail over there out through here, and it's kind of started getting washed out in here as everything coming down, but they would have come out through here to get the logs and stuff up here on this flat, just as they would down there, you know, that trail down below. Which a lot of this would have been back in like the John Deere 440B, the Timberjack, I want to say it's 208. Probably what, Caterpillar, I'm trying to remember all of them now, but again, a lot of this is overgrown. And I mean, like we're on another deer trail here, kinda. This might be a little bit older one. That's like, again, a lot of this up in here would be real nice for turkeys. Up here on this ridge like this. And they got a lot of roosting area up here. And because turkeys like ridges to roost. Oh, that's kind of sad. That was other than a rod in it, that was a pretty, I want to say that's a beech or birch beech. Again, I'm still kind of learning the trees, but if anybody knows, let me know in the comment. Yeah, that's a birch beech. I can tell you by the leaves after seeing them. But, and again, here's some more of that old logging road that would have went on out through here and around the ridge. And like you can see a couple of the trees laying there. That's probably old cut that, I mean, I'll just weedle waddle up there. And so I have found some of the old remnants, tops and this and that they cut. And you know, that old red oak and stuff, that stuff will lay for years. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it looks like. And see, like right in here would be a real great turkey. I'll probably say that 4 or 5 more times, but yeah, it's just, there's all the nice flat ground in here. And again, almost look, they had another skid here. You can see the tire track there, tire track here. Would have come right out through here. And again, I know a little bit of this stuff from working with Grandpa and Uncle growing up. That almost looks like a pile that I might have made down there. Which it might be, because I started working down there on that one ledge road. If there was ever a perfect coon or owl tree, I bet there's probably a coon in there. Which I need to get into coon hunting and stuff, because that's another big part of habitat management. And in the past year, again, I don't know if I should really say this on camera or not, because I mean, I'm getting all the licensing and stuff and the progress for getting all the licensing and stuff, but we've always had the family farm little deal. And there's some people in the neighborhood that feed the cats and stuff, but it's one of those, they bring in a bunch of raccoons and possums, and there's probably a trail that comes down and stuff over there. And then I need to map out a little more over this way. That's why I'm not going to go much further, because I know it kind of bounces a little bit up the hill, down the hill through there with property line on the one neighbor's. And I know there's fence on most of it, but that's like, you want to talk about a pretty poplar. That is a beautiful poplar. Hey, look at there. Another deer trail. Look at there. That's like, I mean, you don't want to open up all your woods, because you want to leave a couple thick thickets for mature bucks, which are your main breeder bucks. And that's one of those, again, back to that research thing. See, that's a joiner trail there. But you can see quite a few trees in here standing and laying that could be potential issues. And see, that's like some of this stuff, you can definitely tell, like Not real sure what this one is, but it's one of them not native bushes. Maybe. Almost looks like a more wild variety of, I don't want to say multiflora because it's not rosy and thorny, but oh shoot. Is it magnolias? Maybe? I don't know. I don't remember the. Oh, yeah, it's like, pine tree laying there. And that's like right here. Right here's another, this is that other little skid road that they would have come in here and they'd have weaseled in through here. And, well, this would have been the original road. And I'm guessing they had a big tree or a big pile up or something in right here and they couldn't get through there and they made them a loop around. So, I mean, again, a lot of these trees are just saplings and stuff. And you can tell this has been the main trail for a while. It's just, again, it's one of those, you can say, like, if I could get that tractor and stuff, I'd tie to that, well, hook to that and knock them limbs off and just drag that whole thing out. Or I really want to make a log skid and, well, I think it's Tick Creek Ranch or whatever that builds the log hoppers or the log, oh, shoot, what are they called? So there's another deer trail goes out through there and around and goes down over there where they can bed down for wind cover and such. And see, like some of these, you kind of got to just cut them and pile them, but probably going to go ahead and end this one because we're getting up here to the end of the trail. And pretty long video anyway. I can edit that first one for TikTok and this one for YouTube. But like I said, I just mainly wanted to do a little update for the habitat and how things were shaping up because it's the first time I've took a lap around in a while myself. And so far trails are looking good and this and that because rotten, I think that's cedar. Yeah, it's cedar. But, well, there's another one of them little holly trees. I keep finding them little holly trees here, there, and everywhere. Not everywhere, literally, but. And that's like, as much as I hate to, that's an old growth. Because you can see where this one, and then there would have been a third leg there, which if I had to guess, fell over that way. And, man, I love cedar. A lot of people don't like it. I love the smell of it, but I'll at least walk you guys up here and show you that other trailhead that I was talking about. Because this one, they come together and they both go up to the neighbor's driveway up here, which I'm not going to go that far up. But this one here more or less loops around down to the backside because, like I said, down there's a couple valley washouts and spring washouts down, like you can see the one that goes down through there, and then there's another one back there that need to get a culvert for and bring in, which I'm not going to ask him to do that. I'll find a culvert and drag it in and just ask him to help me dig it and drop it in and put dirt back over it. He's got a nice little excavator, and all I really got at the moment's tractor, but not even really my tractor, but I use it. But like I said, this trail just kind of goes back down through, and I'm still kind of mapping it out because it goes back there where, like I said, it kind of zigzags back there a little bit on property line, but he's still got a pretty good, decent bit back around the ridge there that goes over and borders another, what I'd call neighbor, but, and again, all of us out here pretty well get along good, and it's one of those, everybody works together for the most part, other than a few degenerates and stuff that keep poking around. But we'll get there one of these days. As always, get out, help your neighbor, enjoy this nice weather we're starting to get. And then just, as always, get out, get active, get healthy. Have a good one. Later.